Quadruple shooting in D.C. on the southeast side. Check it out.
Start the 10 with breaking news. 4 people wounded in a shooting in southeast D.C.
And Fox 5's Shamari Stone is live at that scene tonight with more on the search for the gunman. Shamari.
Well, Angie and Jim, we've talked to several people in this community, and they are scratching their heads. Many of them are upset, wondering who shot these people, why, what's the motive. 4 people shot. Here you have 2 men and 2 women. You come right over here. This officer is making sure that people do not cross this crime scene tape right here, because throughout here, this web of crime scene tape, there were shell casings, because people in this neighborhood tell me that they heard at least 20 shots fired. One woman who I talked to at a nearby apartment complex told me, quote, "It sounded like a war zone," end quote. Let's roll some video just to show you what police are looking for. They say that the suspect was dressed in a white shirt, dark pants, and white shoes, and officers are all...
Sound like one of them franchise boys. Sound like a franchise boy. What is it, 2004?
Also looking for a blue SUV that they say was involved in the shooting that happened on the 1200 block of Potomac Avenue Southeast around 8 o'clock tonight. Now, D.C. Fire EMS responded to the scene wearing hazmat suits. We were hearing that there was an SUV that was possibly hit by a bullet and was possibly leaking gas. Once the hazmat crews, D.C. Fire EMS, determined that everything was okay, they cleared the scene. Meanwhile, the 4 people who were shot, we're talking about the 2 men and 2 women, were transported to a hospital. No word on their condition. Meanwhile, you're going to hear from people who live in this community who tell me they are sick and tired of violence.
I heard around 20 to 30 shots. It sounded like a bunch of shots at first.
I'm very saddened and distressed about it, especially because I work to prevent violence. I'm run an organization called Little Friends for Peace, and we're working to stop violence on our streets. And just taking a night walk, and my son heard all this sirens, and he said, "I think there's an emergency."
Now, the shooting happened nearby what neighbors describe as the Hopkins apartments. You look across the street before we go, you can see a canine officer, and police had their flashlights as they were searching for evidence. That officer just coming right under the tape, and you can see the dog right there. They were searching for evidence. As for the 4 people who were shot, again, no word on their condition. Police have not released their names or their ages, but when you talk to people who actually live in this community, who come out of their homes, wake up in the morning and go to work, they say that they are concerned about their safety.
That sounds like a hit. 2 women and 2 men, 30 shots. That ain't nothing but a hit. You know these people don't care nothing about a community. They ain't checking for y'all. Anyways, that's what's happening in D.C. over in, what is it, Pensacola? Drug dealer kills 2 men or kills a man, and then 2 more are wanted for trying to rob him. Check it out.
A man was killed during a drug deal Tuesday night in Escambia County. Deputies were called to a home on Swallowtail Lane about reports of gunfire. When they arrived, they found 1 person dead with gunshot wounds.
2 individuals now charged in that case, but the shooter is not facing homicide charges. WEAR's Brent Carney explains why.
So I got 1 bullet hole, 2, 3, and 4 right there with a ricochet right there.
Bullets hit Noah Reichman's car. He heard the gunshots Tuesday night, and one of the victims...
Who covers my car if my car gets shot up in a robbery that I'm not a part of?
Banging on his front door.
And I open the door, and that's whenever I see the body on my porch, and you could clearly see the 5 shots in his chest.
Let him have it.
And then the cop stepped inside. We spoke a little bit about it. I kind of had an anxiety attack. I wasn't really able to get words out.
The victim is being identified as 26-year-old DeAndre English. Deputies say English, 24-year-old Demetrius...
How's he the victim? He was the person who was the perpetrator, and he got taken out.
Caesar and 22-year-old Malaya Gordon drove to the home of 20-year-old Isaac Mitchell.
We had 2 males and a female decide to go and buy marijuana, but actually what they wanted to do was end up robbing the guy that was going to sell the marijuana.
Simmons says when Mitchell got in the car to make the sale, English pulled a gun on him. The 2 fought over the gun, and investigators say when Mitchell got his hands on it, he shot English several times. Both Gordon and Caesar fled the scene.
This is just risky behavior. And when you're buying and selling drugs, there's money involved, there's drugs involved, or something of value involved.
Tried to rob him and got that
and ultimately, this is a very dangerous endeavor.
Simmons says Mitchell will not be
That's what happened when you try to run off on a plug and you think you tough in these streets.
charged in the shooting because it was self-defense, but he said charges for dealing drugs are pending. Simmons says both Gordon and Caesar are facing murder charges.
Well, in the state of Florida, if you're committing a felony and robbing someone is certainly a felony.
Let me look at the two culprits.
Simmons says both Gordon and Caesar are facing.
Yep. That fits the profile. Fits the profile perfectly. So because you were with the person, this is why you got to be careful of the company that you keep. Because you were with the person that was trying to rob, or y'all set him up, he just so happened to be the one that pulled the gun out on him. He got killed. Y'all fled the scene. Guess what? Y'all now going to be charged with murder. Now you going to be charged, or you're going to be charged with attempted murder. You going to be charged with the crime just as heavy as the person that you was with. If you just a getaway driver, you're going to suffer as a result of it also.
Murder charges.
Well, in the state of Florida, if you're committing a felony and robbing someone is certainly a felony. If you're in the commission of a felony and someone gets killed, during the commission of that felony, you can be charged with felony murder in the state of
Florida. Whoa. Wait a minute. I just realized something. So they homie died. All right. So think about this. Let's put this in perspective, right? All three of them went up to rob the dude, the weed dealer. Come on, man. How much money could he possibly have? They call him and they say, hey, fam, we want to meet, so we want to get something to smoke on. Where you at? They link up, jump in the car. Dude wind up killing the dude that pulled the gun on him. The other two people run. So y'all all three came together. You left this two. One of your homies is dead. Because you were committing a felony and the person died, even if there was the person that was next to you, you still can be charged with murder. I didn't know that. You can still be charged with murder if the person that you with dies in the commission of a felony when they were potentially doing something that they wasn't supposed to do. I did not know that. That is new to me. Wow. And why would he have money on him and he the plug? He the person that's moving the weight to you. He trying to sell you something.
Florida, and that's what we're charging the female and the male that survived.
Caesar was already on probation for a previous murder at the Oakwood Terrace Apartments in 2018.
Yeah.
That crime very similar, an attempted robbery that resulted in a fatal shooting.
He ain't learned from the first time. So he the Robert.
You do this not once, but you do it twice. Once is bad enough, but you do it twice is just incomprehensible to me.
Neighbors I spoke to are frustrated.
I think it's really ridiculous that somebody that was involved in a murder previously only got 4 years and then is on probation, and then this little bit of time later it goes off to do it again.
Yep. Well, he ain't coming home no more, and that girl is going with him. And then last but not least, a sugar daddy. Listen, this story is wild. They're saying that 2 women went and killed their sugar daddy. You can't even trick off on these hoes no more, man. 2 women went and took out their sugar daddy. They cut off his finger in order to get into the financial app so that they can send themselves some money. What did you think, that they wasn't going to track where you sent the money to? Check it out, y'all.
Prosecutors have filed charges against 2 women who investigators say gained access to a dead man's Cash App by cutting off his finger.
Investigators tell us Audrey Miller and Tiffany Taylor Gray viciously attacked the man inside his Northwest D.C. apartment back in April, then cut off the man's thumb, stole his phone, and cleaned up the crime scene. News 4's Paul Wagner walks us through this disturbing case.
Can't even have no fingers no more.
In a 49-page affidavit filed in D.C. Superior Court, investigators laid out a gruesome and diabolical scheme. The woman on the left, listed as suspect.
Look at these women. Hey, y'all getting worse and worse every day. Every day that I do this show, every week that I do this show, Listen, Keisha, are you with me? Keisha, you with me? Listen, every day that I do this show, I'm realizing that women are the true monsters. Women are monsters. Women have now become just as ruthless and vicious as men. Over a Cash App, you got to be a dusty hoe. How much money could you possibly have in Cash App? How much money could you possibly have in Cash App that would justify killing Sugar Daddy and then using his thumb in order to get into...
Suspect number one, police say, is 19-year-old Audrey Miller. The woman on the right, listed as suspect number two, is 22-year-old Tiffany Taylor Gray. According to the court affidavit, Gray...
Yep, fits the profile. Got all of the baby hairs, the whole 9 yards, the nose ring, butterfly eyelashes, arched eyebrows, face beat, middle part bust down. Ain't that what Quentin called it? The middle part bust down? Fit all of the descriptions. Hey, be careful of these women, bro.
Gray and the victim, Fazil Teklemariam, knew each other.
No, look at the victim. No, I ain't supposed to be laughing at the victim. Who is the person that is cutting out these thumbnails? What kind of altered image is this? Y'all got to stop tricking. What? Is this a painting or is this real? I love this show.
The affidavit says one witness told police the 53-year-old was her sugar daddy.
Oh!
In these two photos, police say suspect number one, Audrey Miller,
Look at
and
Sugar
Teklemariam are seen together entering his apartment on April 1st.
You got to be, listen, you got to be down bad. You got to be down all the way bad to take Oompa Loompa and pay for box from Oompa Loompa. You gotta be really, really on your on desperate mode. I mean, driving in desperate mode to be dealing with a woman coming in your apartment that look like that with a jean jacket with canvas sleeves. No way in life am I ever, listen, if y'all ever hear a story about Anton being a sugar daddy for an Oompa Loompa, you know I'm down bad. I really fell out. My wife didn't left me. My kids don't like me. I've now become a Robert. Everything in my life has gone bad if I find myself in a situation where I got to have a woman that's walking into my apartment that got the Your Way thing on it, the sign that waving all around like this, and she got the hoodie on under the jean jacket. I'm down bad. I've lost life. I've lost my way. Christ is no longer with me. I have nothing to offer society, and you might as well just take me out. Just lock me up, take me out. Throw away the key, do something with me, have an intervention with me. If you ever see me on the streets doing this, I've lost my way.
Marion are seen together entering his apartment on April 1st.
D.C. police believe Fazil Teklemariam had been dead inside his third-floor apartment here on Peabody Street Northwest for about 4 days before his body was discovered. According to a court affidavit filed in the case, he had suffered blunt force trauma to the head, he'd been stabbed, and his right thumb had been cut off. A witness told police that the thumb was used to gain access to a Cash App and to buy liquor and drugs.
Included in the court affidavit, investigators attached numerous photos from surveillance cameras mounted outside 2 entrances to the building, as well as the foyer and the hallway leading to the victim's apartment. Police say 2 men, one they have identified but not charged, were seen with the 2 women coming and going from the building over several days. Investigators say the suspects used the victim's key fob to get into the building and were seen carrying items out of the apartment. There was also evidence suggesting cleaning agents had been used to conceal or eliminate evidence. Police say they got a couple of breaks in the case. Last year, Teklemariam filed a complaint with D.C. police claiming suspect number 2, Tiffany Taylor Gray, had taken his phone and used it to steal $1,800 from his Cash App. Break number 2 came when investigators learned Teklemariam's cell phone last pinged from a tower in College Park, not far from where Gray rented an apartment. A law enforcement source familiar with the investigation says the claim Teklemariam was Gray's sugar daddy has so far not been verified. Investigators believe the victim's severed thumb was used to access his phone. To date, investigators have not found the victim's thumb or the electronics stolen from his home. Audrey Miller is locked up in the D.C. jail and is waiting a preliminary hearing. Gray is in custody in Prince George's County, where she was arrested last week.
Listen, y'all, we got to do better. Let this be a warning. A, for the men, stop letting these women inside of y'all place so that they can cut y'all thumbs off. B, it's just bad all the way around. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your Quick Hits.